back to Stan's Cutlery Universe. And today, thought I'd do something a little bit fun. Excuse me. I'm going to be cleaning up this old case Barehead jack. This looks to me to be a 1974. Looks like there's 6 dots there. So yeah, I've been cleaned up the tang a little bit, but you can see this. It's got good snap, but it's it's showing its age. It's got funk and monk and everything else in there. So I just thought it's time to give it a revitalization, bring it back to life, and just help this beautiful knife be what it is, a beautiful knife, So I got my cleaning kit out here and stuff. I got different stuff I'm going to be using. A couple things I'm going to try new, different, to see how they work. I got some really fine steel wool here. I think I'm going to give it a shot just to see how it works out. I don't want to make it perfect by any means, but I don't want it to be fully patinaed either. I like knives that are a little bit cleaner. That's just a personal choice. We all have the way we like our pocket knives and stuff to be, So that's just my choice. I like them a little bit cleaner than I don't mind patina, but I want to put the patina on this myself, if that makes sense. Maybe. I don't know. Oh, I just made my towel all nasty. That's okay. That's what laundry machines are for. Laundry machines are for. Yes, sir, Bobby. And I don't call everybody Bobby. No, I don't. I don't call everybody Bobby. Let's see how this is supposed to be like a carbon steel eraser type thing, kind of like the case eraser. I just found it online for other things than knife cleaning. And I thought, you know what, I'll buy it. It was, not that the case erasers are expensive. Don't take me wrong there. I'm not saying that. But I just thought, oh man, that's doing a really nice job. Yeah, I'm going to leave a little of the patina on it because, I don't want it to look brand new. But like I said, I just want to put the patina on it myself, if that makes sense. And this being a 1974, it's only 2 years newer than me, which I'm going to be probably putting in the title, cleaning up a vintage case Barehead jack. It's hard when you realize that you're older than vintage. I don't want to think that and admit it, but I have to. I have to admit it. Yeah, there we go. It's cleaning up nicely. I'm going to do a little bit more on this. And I'm probably going to keep pretty much everything in here, I won't put I'll do a break when I put it into my cleaner, and when I put it into the mineral oil after it's out of the sonic cleaner. But I'm going to pretty much leave everything in here of the cleanup process, because why not? It takes a little bit longer. It takes a little bit longer. But, we can always, I am saying, way too much. I apologize. We can always, I hate it when I get stuck into a loop like that where I just keep saying the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over. Yeah, we're getting there. Might end up having to use the, I think I'm going to end up using some flits on it too. Ouch. It is a sharp little son of a gun. I am not going to do any what am I trying to say? Power tools on this. This is going to be all just hand tools and the such. And the stuff that anybody could, do their own stuff. I do have my Dremel that I like, but I decided that I just wanted to get to know this knife. I might have to find something to put underneath this blade to give it a little bit of a prop up. Yeah, I'll use these natural muslin cloths. They're good for waxing, but they're also really good for, I think that's what the ladies use them for, is waxing and stuff. But they're also, that's not good for that. They're good for as a soft cleaning material to use when you want to clean on something. Maybe I'll use the leather conditioner tin. There we go. That should work. Oh, that's much better. That much more better. More better SpongeBob. But I hope y'all enjoy this. It's Thursday. I'm gonna make this a thankful Thursday too. Man, no, I'm not. I'm not gonna make it a thankful Thursday. I am gonna do a separate video for that, but I am gonna say thank you, Mangus. Um, that was wonderful what you guys did for my grandson there. You and your wife are just awesome folks. We are blessed to have people like you in this community, you know. And I mean that from the heart, buddy. You know what you guys did. And later on when I do a video, a Thankful Thursday video, other people know what you guys did too. But it was just, you guys are wonderful folks. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful folks. And my little guy is going to be loving that. I might need to get something a little more strong than Flitz out here. We'll see how the Flitz does. You know, if it, oh, I just stuck my arm in the Flitz. I do have the blue magic polish too that Mangus turned me on to. But like I said, I remember that now from when I was in the Marine Corps. That stuff was great on my mags and stuff on my car. I should have thought about it, you know, because being great on your mags on your car, it's probably going to work good for a knife too, you know. But I never thought about it till Mangus broke it out, and I was like, oh my goodness, I remember that stuff. That stuff was awesome stuff. Uh-oh, that's a little more than I probably need. Yeah, I'll put some on the bolsters too. Now, when you're doing this, if it's first time you're doing cleaning up a knife, be very careful, because even a dull blade doing this like this, you can all of a sudden cut yourself. So you got to be cognitive, and I know it looks like I'm moving really fast, and I am, but I can feel that tip underneath my finger. So I'm being very cautious how I am doing stuff. So, you know, I'm not just willy-nilly doing it, is what I'm saying, you know, because I really don't need to go find another Band-Aid. Me and Band-Aids have been buddies past couple weeks. I don't know why. All of a sudden I decided I think I want to put a Band-Aid on every day for a week. So I did. Man, that's coming out really nicely. Look at that pen blade. Like I said, I don't need it to be perfect. I don't want it to be perfect. I just want it cleaner than it was. You know, clean it up, bring the knife back to some of its former glory, and enjoy it. You know, that's the biggest thing. That's why cleaning up knives is fun to do. You know, it's just, I'm back to the nose. Lord, somebody shoot me. Get me out of my own misery. Please take me out of my own misery. But, pretty cool knife. I got this in a lot. I paid like $12 a knife, and this was one of them that was in it. And I got it a while ago. I haven't cleaned it up yet. But every once in a while, you can get a really, really nice piece in a lot. Because somebody's thinking because it's in a lot that it's a total piece of garbage. And the people that I bought this from, what I have noticed that they do is, if something is going to take more than like basic cleaning, you know, like, and when I mean basic, I mean like absolutely basic. If it's going to take much more than putting it in an ultrasound, they will put it in a lot and let it go. But there's also a problem with that same people, nothing against them, nothing wrong, they're doing nothing wrong. Sometimes the stuff they'll put in a lot, I'm shaking. It's one of those days. I thought I could feel it. Sometimes though, you know, you get the stuff in a lot, and there's a reason it's in a lot. It's because it is a turd, you know. So you gotta be careful of that too. You got to really look, and a lot of times you'll never know. They try to give an honest opinion, you know, what their opinion is of the status and the quality of it and everything, and I give them credit for that. They usually do pretty doggone good, you know. I'm not going to talk badly about them, and if it sounds like I am, I apologize. I'm not meaning to. It's just You know, sometimes one person's opinion of light use or this or that, you'll get it, and your opinion is, you're like, oh my God, this thing's been destroyed. This is just some heavier grade steel wool. This is probably a 2-aught, double-aught, I'm guessing, because I try not to keep too coarse of steel wool in my cleaning stuff for knives, because if you got to go much coarser than this, my opinion is you should probably have used a Dremel tool or something, you know. And maybe I'm wrong, but that's my opinion, and I'm entitled to my opinion just like everybody else. And yeah, but yeah, it's Thursday morning. My wife's left for work. She's got to go up north to the Upper Peninsula and up north for to do her job. She's kind of a, oh, I don't know what to call her position. Right now she's in, like, I won't call it a limbo, because she's not in limbo. She's doing her job, but because they call them new stations, which, you know, everybody else in this world would call it new airports. You know, the airport was there, but the airline she works for just did not have a presence there before. So because she's like the senior person for what she does in the region, she ends up kind of being a trainer, I guess. Trainer, mentor, I don't know what they call them. I'll call it a trainer, because to me that's what it is. You know, so she ends up being a trainer, which is okay. She enjoys it. She gets to go away, stay a couple nights in a hotel, eat out a little bit, you know, which is, hey, you know what? It's good for her. It's good for me. And I don't mean this to sound bad or rude. It's not meant that way. I love my wife more than, you know, pretty much anything in the world. You know, got my little grandson and my daughter and stuff, but my wife is my wife. I love her more than anything. But I think anybody that's been married any length of time will say this. You love your spouse, you want to be around them all the time, but at the same time, every once in a while, for them to go on a little vigil, little getaway, whether it's with their girlfriends or, you know, or if you're a guy, it better not be with your girlfriends, you know, if you're married, but, you know, there it'd be with your buddies. We all need our little times just to get out, get away, and go do stuff. You know what I mean? And even though it's for work, it's good for her, because she goes and does stuff, gets to spend a night, and like I said, a couple nights in a hotel. There's always some girls where she's at that she's made friendships with, that they go out to eat together, so she's not going out to eat alone. And you know, it's good for her. It's good for her mentality. You know, she enjoys it, and I'm happy for her that she gets to do that type of stuff. You know, because that stuff is very important. Can hear all my tools rattling. That's funny. How's that looking? That's looking pretty good. I think I'll get this softer, not softer, but thinner, finer steel wool on these bolsters. I want them to be a little bit more shiny than what they are. And then I'll also flitz them, but some flitz will go on it after it gets its soak in the ultrasonic. And you know, the flitz I was using as a cleaner, and then I realized I had all the steel wool here. I'd be a fool not to utilize it. I think I'm going to utilize this on a back spring too. Might be able to make that back spring even more beautiful. Oh yeah, this knife's cleaning up wonderfully. Oh my goodness. I honestly wasn't sure how nicely this would clean up when I started, but man, this thing is just... This thing is just, wow. It's coming out wonderfully. I am super stoked about this. I'm going to have to vacuum right away. I am super stoked about this. This is coming out just wonderfully. Look at those back springs. I think I'm going to do a little bit more on the blades. I think I'm going to use the steel wool again. That seems to be the Slick Snot McGee. Slick Snot McGee. Yeah. Now you all know why I don't have many friends. Stan's over there saying Slick Snot McGee. Who in the heck is Slick Snot McGee? That's just disgusting. What a weirdo. I told you he was a weirdo. I want to get that tang stamp a little bit nicer. That's what my goal is right now. I don't want to rub it too hard though, because I'll rub out the stamp because it's a really light stamping. But I guess it's coming in a little better. Let's keep working on that. Ouch. Man, sometimes you just got to get your fingertips right in there and just do what you got to do. Now, I tell you, I think I might do a Rambo marathon today. I don't know how many of you like Rambo movies. I mean, I probably shouldn't watch them with my PTSD and stuff I have, but you know, it's one of those things where I realize that they're not super realistic by any means, you know, so it doesn't, maybe that's why they don't bother me fully, you know, but some days I can't watch them though, man. Just the shooting and stuff, just it's like I don't sleep for 2 days, you know, but I've been in the mood just to watch some, for lack of better terms, fantasy war, you know, I mean, because anybody who's been shot at and stuff knows that the Rambo stuff is not highly realistic, but it's fun to watch. You know, I remember when that movie first came out, the First Blood, my dad, you know, World War II vet, and in the beginning there where that cop, you know, gives Rambo the crap, my dad was ready to like throw the TV through the wall. He was so pissed. And he is just like, those boys did what they had to do. They did what their country told them to do. And then they're treated like that when they get home. My dad was just livid, you know, because he knew that was, even though I was only like 11 or 12, maybe I seen him when I was like 12, I want to say. My dad knew that was realistic, and that how, you know, some of those young men just coming home from Vietnam had been treated. You know, I didn't understand that at the time, you know, because of my age. But man, that was just, my dad was, like I said, he was like, my mom would be like, calm down, you know, and he would just be irritated. But then when we would watch the rest of it, he'd be laughing and he'd say, oh yeah, that's going to happen for real. And I didn't understand that at the time. I was like, oh, Dad said that could really happen. You know what I mean? When honestly, he's like poking fun at the show, but I didn't understand that. You know, but you know, again, at that age, I shouldn't understand stuff like that. You know, that's and honestly, some people might look at my parents and go, why the hell did you let him watch that stuff? Well, you know, I won't say my parents were progressive, because they were not at all. You know, I had older parents, but they didn't want to shelter me from reality either, if that makes sense. Look down in those channels, pretty nasty. You know, they didn't want to shelter me from reality, and they felt that by exposing me and letting me see how, unfortunately, sometimes, that was bad. I almost broke that. I did break it off. Please don't see stuck in there. Good, it's not. You know, how, unfortunately, how sometimes the real world is, that maybe I would grow up to be a better, well-rounded person. You know, if that makes sense. Man, those are some tight wells there. I don't know how I'm going to get in there. That's like the narrowest sticks I have. Do I have anything? Oh, yeah. Some sandpaper. Some really fine sandpaper might get in there. Let's try this. I think this is some like 2000 grit or something. It's way up there. Well, what is it? What grit is it? I'm not going to open it up anymore, because then it'll fall apart totally. Let's get that up in there though. This will work. Yeah, that's going to work. These look to be like brass liners. Oh man, this is going to be even tough. I might just have to, this side I can only put one in that side. Wow. Let's see how we did. not really great, but you know what I realize is that's just like rust and stuff down there. That's not really, it's not really gunk. It's rust and stuff in there. So I'm going to try and run the sandpaper up and down, up and down, up and down, see if I can get enough little bit in there. Yeah, little bit. I don't think I'm going to make that big of a difference in it though, what I'm doing. Okay, go back down to the single because that's all that'll fit in here. Make sure I got a spot where it's like double-sided. Oh man. Okay. Well, I wonder if I can get that line off on this blade at all. You know, I don't want to get sanding marks on here is the one thing I don't want to get. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to get that out really. I mean, maybe. Let's see if I can get it out. I'd be really happy if I did. Oh, I guess I am getting it out. Okay, I'm going to close the main blade then. Work a little bit more on the little clip, or not clip blade, but pen blade here. Okay, I can see something I'm doing. I'm starting to go down a rabbit hole if I want to get this too clean. And if I'm not careful, I am going to put myself down a rabbit hole. And then I am going to have to like super clean everything on this. And that's not what I wanted. It's still not what I want. I want this to show some of its age, but I want it to be nice and clean also. You know what I mean? So I got to, right now, I need to make a conscious decision of like, where am I stopping? You know, am I going to keep working on this blade, or am I going to just call it good enough? And part of me is saying call it good enough, because if I keep going, I'm going to keep going. And you know, what I mean by that is I'm going to keep going to where I'm never going to stop. I'm going to polish this whole blade out so freaking well, you know, that it's this, everything is going to shine and be, and not that I don't want it to look good, I just don't need it to look good, that good. You know, I want it to show some of its age, you know. So I'm going to work just a little bit more on this. Then I'm probably going to show it to y'all, throw it in the sonic cleaner for a bit, get it in the mineral oil for a little bit, and then come back and show y'all what she looks like when she's all done. You know, because so far 23 minutes, that's not too bad. I want to get that tang a little better, because I really like being able to read my tang stamps nicely, you know. Okay, let's get this side done up. This really fine paper fills up so fast with, what I mean by fills up is the grit fills up with, you know, the stuff that it's taking off so fast because it's such a fine, 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 fine grit. That's looking pretty doggone good. Like I said, I gotta just call it. I gotta just decide and just be done, because otherwise I am going to keep on going. Just gonna try and balance these blades out so they look consistent. Get the steel wool over here because that's less gritty. Now put a little bit better buff on it. Yes, it did. Okay. Yeah. Do a little bit more. These back springs. Oops, that's what I missed. Oh, it's got good springs. Gotta. Okay. Get this really fine. And this really fine has some oil on it already because I was using it to do some different work. So that's why it's really helping buff this stuff out, and why it has like a little bit of an oil sheen on it after I'm done with it. This stuff I think is triple aught or quad aught, might even be 5-aught. This stuff is really super fine, super, super fine. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's do a little bit of a rub down and we'll see where we stand with this before it goes into the ultrasonic and then into the oil. Has half stops even. Wow. I am going to say pretty slick, eh? Wipe her down a little bit more. Get that back to the half stop. I don't want it to pop on my finger. Let's wipe these down a little bit more. Even though this is a synthetic, I'm positive it's synthetic, it's going to, when it gets in the oil, it's going to eat up some of that oil and it's going to pop. Yeah. Wow. I am super, super stoked about that. I am going to pause the video here, get that into the ultrasonic, get her spiffed up, and I will be back. See you guys in a little bit. Okay, so we are back. It's out of its bath. Not its bath, but it's sonic cleaning. I have not done anything more to it other than just dried it off some. It needs to get into put into the mineral oils here shortly, but I just wanted to show you it all before it gets into the mineral oil. I'm actually thinking of letting it soak for a good hour to an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. I'm amazed at how overall clean this knife is. I mean, you know, as far as like crap and stuff being in it. But yeah, I wanted to show you this. That's what she looks like right now. I might do a little bit of flitz on there, but I'm thinking first I want to get it in its mineral oil. But I did have this thing. This is a little, very fine sanding block, and I bought it for this purpose intentionally. I wanted to see what this would do for the blades, how it would make the blades look. Feels like it's the same grit pretty much. Because, you know, this will form like right in with the blade and stuff. See if I can get that tang a little bit better. Okay, not too bad. Not working quite as well as in my brain I thought it would. You know, definitely not hurting it none. But just not quite as good as in my, like I said, when I ordered it, my brain said it was going to be the end all be all, you know. But that's how you learn. You order things Is it doing an okay job? Yeah, I'm not upset I spent a little bit of money I did on it. I mean, this thing didn't cost but a few dollars, I think. Wow, actually, that's doing a really nice job. Um, see if I can get that tang stamped a little bit better over here, because I got that one spot that just doesn't want to come clean on it. Oh, it did. It cleaned up. Okay. One spot right up in there. Okay, I think I'm going to get the pen blade a little bit better, and then I am going to finally be smart enough to say I am done, because otherwise, like I said, I will be chasing this into tomorrow. I just want it to, I want it to look good. I want it to be cleaned up nicely, but I don't want it to be perfect. And maybe some of y'all are already saying, Stan, just stop, it looks good. That's one of my problems. In fact, it's funny, Mangus and I talked yesterday a little bit, and we were talking about how, it's like him and I have similar problems with stuff. We don't know when to stop. It's like, we want it to be so perfect. And sometimes, like the knife doctor says, I hate quoting other people's channels, especially when they're a larger channel, because it makes people think, oh, he's just trying to, to put some clout on himself. But no, sometimes you just have to let an old knife be an old knife. This thing's from 1974. This thing is 51 years old, and it's still a beautiful piece that I'm just bringing it back. After I soak it in the mineral oil and it's totally dried up from that, I will put a good sharpen on it, which it already is pretty doggone sharp, so it's just going to basically need just a touch up. Trying to get that line off from there. Don't know if ooh, so close. Okay, I'm getting it. Yeah. That's just going to make me happy. No, I'm not. Okay, well, you know what? Oh, I know the other thing I noticed that I'd forgotten. I forgot to get in here. So I got to get into the pit area. Get a stick out. Yeah. Yeah, it's got, it's not filthy by any means, and I'm not trying to say that by any means, but, the more you can get out before you put it into your mineral oil, the better off you are. And I only use my little, very economical little, what am I trying to say? Ultrasonic. It's literally one that just runs on 2 AA batteries, and I just put warm, or actually pretty hot water, as hot as I could get it out of the tap, and then Dawn dishwashing liquid in there, and cleaned her up. Let's see how this does on the back springs. Ooh, nice. I just don't want to take too much of a chance of getting the handle material, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm already getting on it some, but I also want it to look. I want this thing to, be a good-looking piece of cutlery. There we go. Should I flitz it a little bit, make sure everything's good to go, or just get it into, it's coming out pretty good. Should I get it into the mineral? I think I should just stop, call it good enough, get it into the mineral oil, let it set in there, and then come back and finish spiffing it up and let you all know what she looks like then. I think that's what I need to do. I need to stop while I'm ahead good enough, call it good. I'm going to bring my pan over here that I put my mineral oil in. This here is actually a towel that is, actually I might not even, no, I need to put it in the bath to disperse the water from in the center. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll pull them out and I'll get them, put them in that towel, because that towel will allow them to still, soak and stuff, but you don't have them down in the bath. But now I need to get the water out of this. So then the mineral oil is just Wally World stuff, food grade. You know, you can use it as a laxative, and if you don't want to put a ton in here so you don't have to put a whole bottle in at once, what you do is you get it in there, then you tilt it, and then you put something under it. And this is a container my wife so lovingly gave me that I get to use for my knife stuff, because we are moving away from plastic. We're trying to go all glass. And whoops, sorry, caught my heel on my thing there. But yeah, I think this is probably the end. That's my cleanup. I will do a little short once she's totally out of here and everything. I think I want to let it soak overnight. But that's my cleanup. Hope you all enjoyed it. I appreciate y'all. With that being said, live long, prosper, and collect your own way.